What's up, everybody? I'm James Duggan here with Professor Broman, who is a Destiny streamer and longtime community member. So my question to you is, what do you think it would take for Destiny to become an esport, and would you want to see it become one?
Private matches. Destiny needs private matches if it wants to become an esport. You can't have a competitive scene if you don't have a controlled environment, and private matches are the first step. Obviously, like better balancing and all weapons and everything needs to happen, but the first step to it would be private matches, which right now we kind of have private matches in the Sparrow Racing League, which is awesome, and it could be a demo for stuff in the future. At least I hope so. So yeah, that's what I think.
All right, so I have to ask you this question. This just happened. Destiny added the feature to boost your character to level 25 for $30. It's a very divisive issue. So what's your take on it?
The waste of money. I mean, lots of MMO type games have like a pay to skip the first half of the game. Like in World of Warcraft, you can pay to be level 100 and like get to end game content right away. So like that's the model I think that they're adopting, and it's pretty common. I think it's overpriced, and I wouldn't personally do it because you only skip like 4 hours of the game. But you're not buying anything. Like, I'm not scared of going into Iron Banner and playing against a level 25. Like, what? He's dead. So I'm pretty ambivalent about it. And I think maybe if, we continue to see the format like this, light level increase or power increase, I think that it's pretty common practice in other MMOs when there's an expansion pack to catch everyone up or to let new players kind of buy into endgame. So it might be something that we see again in the future. But it's not something that concerns me personally.
So it's not a huge threat because players aren't getting to the upper echelon; they're just getting to the baseline for the expansion.
Yeah. If I would be, we'd be having a different conversation if it was say oh, here you go, for $5 here's a sleeper simulant, or for $20 here's max light gear. It's a completely different situation from here's help to get started if you have extra money that you want to spend, or here is everything in the game for a price.
Great. All right, so switching gears for a second, talking about just streaming. You've been streaming for a long time. Yeah. Do you see the culture of streaming changing in 2016 at all?
I think that streaming is really starting to come into its own. There's things like this. Larger companies are starting to notice. If you mention that, I've been streaming for 3 years. When I first started, I stream video games on the internet. The first 3 or 2 years, it was kind of so that's a job. And then, but now over the last year, it's become people oh yeah, I think I've heard of that. I think I know about it. So I think that Twitch is going to grow kind of in size. As far as culture, since I've started on Twitch, I've sort of just seen the small bits of culture that Twitch had sort of amplify through its growth. One of them being the charity culture on Twitch, which is what pulled me into it on the first time I watched Twitch was for a charity marathon. So I think, if anything, I think it's just going to grow and become a better version of what it already is. I don't see any monumental shift in any particular direction.
Great. So speaking of charities, what charity are you playing for today?
Make-A-Wish, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So we're going to make little kids' dreams come true.
It's a very noble cause. All right, guys, for all things esports and Destiny, keep it right here on IGN.